When I made my Patrick intro, I didn't have any backgrounds and it was totally new, like every beginner of course. It was also just a practice animation and I didn't really care what background it had. So I just went to Google, typed that images grassland and there we go. I picked a random grassland background, saved it to my computer, placed it in my background folder and it's ready to use for Sony Vegas. Alright, now we got our background, but there's still one more thing I want before I start Sony Vegas, the music. The song I used in this animation is a song by MapleStory. It's called West of Hennessy's. So I went to Google, once again, typed in MapleStory music, clicked the top link and there we go. There you can download all your MapleStory music you want. So let's search for West of Hennessy's. There we go, number 12. Right click on the name and choose Save As and save it to your desktop. Ctrl X the song, go to your project folder and go inside the music folder and press Ctrl V. Yay! Now we got our animation file, our background and now we also have our music. So I'll better don't keep you waiting even more. Let's start Sony Vegas and get to business. Welcome to my domain, Sony Vegas. As you can see, I'm now using Sony Vegas 10. And that's pretty new for me too, because I always used Sony Vegas 8 for my animations. It doesn't matter if you still use an older version than 10, version 8 or higher are fine as well. Alright, let's start off by disabling the stuff we won't need, so it won't bother us. Go to the top and click on View. Disable Explorer, Trimmer and Mixer. There we go. Now we won't be bothered by screens we don't need. Give us a better vision on Sony Vegas. Now let's take a look at the properties. Go to File and click Properties. The template of the video is now set as NTSC with resolution of 720 by 480. It doesn't really matter which template we use for our video because we want to make a video for YouTube. And it's not like you want the highest resolution because that doesn't really make a difference for your small computer screen. You can still put the settings as high as possible of course, for nice quality, but you need expensive hardware for this. So if your computer is a bit on the cheapy side and it has a hard time rendering and pre-rendering your video timeline, in other words Sony Vegas is getting really slow and crash sometimes, it's better to put these settings less high. So you have to look for yourself which settings fits the best for your computer. I'm going for the HDV template and I changed the pix format to 32-bit. Full resolution rendering quality can be changed to best, motion blur is okay, same for the interlace method. Moving on to audio, bit depth can be changed to 24 and resample and stretch quality can be changed to best. Good quality sound is important too. I rather change the recorded files folder to another destination where I can find the files back easily, so that's what I'm going to do now. And there we go. And ignore ruler, summary and audio CD. Okay, properties are set up. Let's import the animation file. Go to the character folder and simply drag the file into Sony Vegas. I think it's time to explain about the background color now. My purpose is to don't have a background at all. I only want a character, so I'm going to remove the blue color. The only thing that stays visible then is the character itself. Now go to Video Effects and search for Chroma Keyer. Drag blue screen and release it on the animation file. The Chroma Keyer is now on the animation file. To make sure you got the exact same color as the background of the animation file, click this pen tool thingy so you can select any color that you can find on your screen. So release the pen tool thingy on the blue color of your animation file here. Now the Chroma Keyer removes the exact same color as the background on the animation file. The result is now that your character is on a transparent background and now you can add other backgrounds behind it. To make the Chroma Keyer perfectly, I usually put the low threshold on 0-200 and the high threshold on 0-800. This will remove the ugly blue edges of the character. Let's see how it looks like with a background behind it. Alright, let's drag this sucker in. Put it under the character of course. Yeah, well maybe that sounds pretty obvious, but I don't want to hear any comments of why can't I see my character anymore. You have no idea how many silly people there are on YouTube. Right, moving on. As you can see, there's no more blue behind the character. Perfectly shaped with no ugly edges on it. Awesome. But I believe these two big black walls here don't belong there. On every new file in Sony Vegas there will be this square looking thing. That's the event pen crop icon. So let's click the background one. Okay, listen careful now. Whenever you drag a new image into Sony Vegas, you got to stick to this routine. Select widescreen preset first, and after you did that, always lock it with this button. This button doesn't allow you to change the scale of the widescreen, so whatever you try to change, the relationship between the height and the width will stay the same. So if you make the height bigger, the width will change with it. Here is an example why you must do this. Go to the event pane crop of the character. This is a perfect widescreen frame, but now I accidentally make the width slightly smaller, because I forgot to lock it. You don't notice anything because the character is still in the F-box. But when you animate the character off the screen, it can suddenly disappear in an invisible wall. I made this mistake many times when I started animating, so I hope you guys won't make the same mistake as I did. Oh, and before I forget, Patrick is facing the wrong way, so turn him around by clicking with your right mouse button in the F-box and then select Flip Horizontal. I believe I explained the most important things of Sony Vegas now, so let's try to make the animation. Let's make sure he walks on the correct eye position of the screen. To make this more easy, you can press this button with the pointing arrows. Press the button twice and it says move in eye only. So now it doesn't matter which way you try to drag the F-box, it will only move up or down. So let's place Patrick somewhere here. Now we want to make him move from the left to the center of the screen. We will now need the timeline of the event pane crop tool. These square thingies you can create by double clicking on the timeline are called keyframes. Whenever you change the position of the next keyframe, the F-box will move to that position whenever the timeline is played. So let's do that. Let's change the move button to move X only, so we won't accidentally change the eye position. Now select the first keyframe and drag the F-box all the way to the right until you can't see Patrick anymore. Now we select the second keyframe and drag the F-box to whenever Patrick is in the center of the screen and place this keyframe at the end of the timeline. Let's press the play button and see how it looks like. Okay, I think that went a bit too fast. Let's make the file a bit longer by dragging the edge of the file to the right. And now you can drag the keyframe a bit further again. Try to play with that a bit and make him walk on normal speed. When you're done with that, it's time to get the second animation from Banner Story. Return to the Banner Story webpage and change the state of Patrick to standing 1. And change the face state to bewildered. And now we record the animation again like we did before by pressing the hotkey of Hypercam to record. Wait 8 or 10 seconds and press F2 again. Go to the destination folder and place him also in the character folder. And rename the file to standing plus F6. And now the file is ready to use again. Now you can drag it into Sony Vegas and place it behind the walking animation. And now we simply go to the routine I taught you. First remove the background with the chroma key here, change the preset to widescreen and lock it. See, that was pretty easy, right? Once you did this a few times you will get used to it. Now we want to place a new Patrick clip on the exact same position of the last keyframe of the previous Patrick clip. And I know the perfect trick to do this. Okay, drag the second Patrick clip 4 frames back so it will cross with the first Patrick clip. This will make a really short crossfade, and if you select the center of the crossfade, you can see 2 Patricks together. And that will help me putting the second Patrick clip on the exact same position as the first one. So what happened now is you see him walking in, and then he stops there with a new animation. Alright, now I want to make him turn around, because he hears something behind him I guess. Select the second Patrick clip and press S. This will cut the clip in 2 pieces. Drag the new clip 4 frames back and hold the timeline in the center of the crossfade again. And now we make the second Patrick clip turn around by clicking with the right mouse button in the F-box and then select Flip Horizontal. Now go back to Banner Story again and record the new animation of Patrick with the alert state and the angry face state. Once you have it in your character folder, rename it to alert plus F5 or alert plus angry. Now drag it into Sony Vegas and place it behind the last clip. Now go through the chroma key and widescreen routine. Then make it crossfade 4 frames with the previous clip and place it in the same position. And that's it. Now we know how to keep adding new animation clips. Awesome.